Alright boys, today I'm going to make today's video pretty raw and casual and unedited, and I want to go over a couple things that I've been thinking about the past few days in terms of my own progress and my own progression and the ways that I am really going to get to where I want to go. And I'm basing all of this on the books I've been reading recently, my past experiences and successes, and what the people that are ahead of me in life financially and physical fitness wise and mentally have told me. So the first thing I'm going to go over is having a plan. And this one I have not applied as heavily as I should. So when I talk about having a plan, a lot of people, myself included, have just a rough plan. It's like, yeah, I'm going to hopefully be a millionaire by like 30, and I'm going to kind of like maybe do some real estate, and I'll just like kind of work on sales, and I'll also kind of work on a side business. And to be quite frank, if any of you guys watch Hormozy, you'll know that he talks about just one thing. So it's like one avatar, one medium or media, something like that, and one product, and you sell that to 1 million. And while that is true for most people, there's obviously like one thing, like, okay, do real estate till you get 1 million. You can do that in 10 years, like actually easy. A lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people with good paying jobs don't even realize that. They think there's a higher barrier to entry, and all it takes really is some education that you can self-educate, but that's besides the point. So what I want to go into with that Hormozy tie-in is that you really need to focus on one thing for like each category. So like physically, what are you focusing on right now? For me, I'm focusing on the gym. Soon I'm going to start running more than I am right now, so that way I can get my cardio up, and then I'll also be doing stretching. So physically, that's what I'm doing. The next step after I do all of those things is to start training a martial art. And you could do more than one of those things, but it's going to spread you thin. And if you've been following the content, you know, after I read the book Hyper Focus, I kind of explained the whole message of that book, and that is that you only have so much attentional space, and you can only dedicate so much of that space to any area of life before the other areas start to lack. And so in success, obviously, there's like the people that are like David Goggins, and then there's people that are really successful, and then they start teaching you about what they do in their day-to-day life, but that's about what they do now, not what they did to get the money, to get the body, and to get, like, during any acceleration period, you need to sacrifice and focus only on a couple things. And so for me, that's the YouTube. That is managing my finances very, very strongly, very precisely, and so YouTube finances, and also my physical stuff and reading. So like mental, reading, physical, gym, running, stretching, financially, working various sales jobs, and maybe even a normal like wagey type job, which I'm still debating on. I'm still debating on selling a summer as well, again, so door to door. And what was the last thing? Then also the YouTube. I haven't been as consistent as I want to be. Although I've been quite consistent, I need to dial it in even more, because really the difference, so I don't know how many of you guys know this, but water boils at 212 degrees. And at 210 degrees, you're still going to get burned if you touch it. Like, that's really hot, but it's not quite boiling. And so the point of that like analogy is that every degree, it's obviously getting hotter, but then you could say success is the boiling point. And so the difference between 211 degrees and 212 degrees is boiling, is success. So like I could turn up to 211, but I might need one last thing to push me over the edge to 212, and then success comes. So you need to be dialing in very hard, and I haven't been as dialed as I want. I've been making progress. I'm heated up to like 200, but I still have like that whole 12 degrees to go until I'm boiling. So that's something that I don't want to look back at this year and be like, I didn't do that. So the next thing I want to talk about is daily non-negotiables. And we're already a month into the year, and I have made progress. And the only reason I've made progress is because I've done my daily non-negotiables fairly well. Not as well as I'd like to, which I do feel guilty about because, well, obviously, if I'm hoping to help you guys, you want to see me being consistent, and also the only way to get to where you want to go is to be consistent. So you need to pick what you're going to do mentally, financially, and physically, and then maybe even in your relationships, friendships, maybe you have a girlfriend, whatever, and do the daily non-negotiable. So for me, hit the gym, hit the stretches, hit the run, upload the video, and do some reading. And if I do that every day, no matter what, the time is going to pass no matter what. If you watch my previous video, there's an up and down graph and a straight line. You want to be the straight line, the daily non-negotiables, and then the graph is life. It's going to be up and it's going to be down, but if you are the line straight, you're going to cut through all of those times and get to the end and make your progress. So go ahead and watch that if you haven't yet. It's the video right before this one, and it's titled My Mindset Towards the Roller Coaster of Life and How I'll Win in the Long Run. So go ahead and check that out if you'd like. But really the only way to have success is to do the daily non-negotiables, and that's that's what I learned doing 75 hard, and the rest of the year-long Live Hard challenge that follows is just do the everyday. You don't have to worry about tomorrow. You should be aware of tomorrow if you have plans that are outside of your daily non-negotiables, but you really just need to focus on the daily non-negotiables because the time is going to pass and you're going to stress yourself out too much thinking about the future, which I'm guilty of. So that's the second thing I wanted to talk about. The third thing is not to try too much at once. When I started out this year, I still am going to be doing these things, but I loaded so much onto my plate. A video a day, the gym, stretches, doing Spanish, reading 50 pages. That's a lot, and it's doable. So you can do something like that. I can do something like that. However, sometimes if you've been in a period of non-productivity for so long, then you need to ease into it because it's going to be too much at once and you're going to quit. So maybe do the gym for 2 or 3 weeks before you add the reading, or vice versa, whatever it is. Lock in the first habit and then start stacking, kind of like we talked about in Atomic Habits. Now, the other thing I've been realizing and making sure to keep in mind is you need to be learning every single day, because the most successful people probably aren't even smarter than you. Actually, I've met a lot of people that make a lot more than me, that are way more fit than me, and they just live by the laws of success. If you sat down and put us through puzzles and problem solving, I'd probably beat them, but they're more successful than me. And that's because, one, I do paralysis by analysis. I don't act soon enough, and that's something I've been working on this year. My word of the year is action. You just take the action. The other thing is they're more consistent than I've been, and I work really hard for 3 to 6 months, and then I take it easy. And really, if you just dialed it back 80% but went nonstop, you'd get so far. The compounding effect of daily consistency is insane, and that's something I'm working on. So, sorry, I totally went on a rant. You need to learn. These people, they just learned. That's it. What separates you and them is knowledge. And if I'm okay, why am I not progressing? And I've looked at the last 4 years of just striving to do something more than I have done, and I realized that there are only short periods of time where I'm learning something, and then I stop and I just coast on what I already know. And the trick is doing your daily non-negotiables, but applying daily learning as well, and then implementing what you're learning. And that's how you really make progress and make those large leaps and bounds towards any goal you're pretty much trying to get to. And the last thing is stop procrastinating. I am very guilty of this. Like I said, paralysis by analysis. I just want everything to be perfect, and it's not going to be. Or I'm sure everyone is guilty of this. Excuse me. You just put it off to tomorrow, next week. You want to start on a clean slate. And that's just the New Year effect pretty much, where it's everyone starts on the new year, and by about this point, people aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. And I'm somewhat guilty of that. I've been kind of doing it, but not to the point that I should be. So I just want to encourage you to stop putting it off till tomorrow. If you want to start running, even if it's 9 p.m., just go out and do it. I didn't go to the gym for a week this month, and that was stupid. And so then pretty much the other night at like 9 p.m. I was like, I'm done. Like, I can't procrastinate any longer because it's just not going to happen unless I do it now. And then I just do it tomorrow and I do it the next day. And you just have to start, like literally you just have to start now. And everyone, like the self-improvement and success spaces, there's a bunch of super simple things. And success isn't complicated. It's just hard. It's very simple, but it's hard. You do the daily non-negotiables day in and day out. You have a dialed plan. You have a plan. A plan is so important because otherwise, how do you know where to act? How do you know what your daily non-negotiable is? You just do the daily non-negotiables according to your plan, and you don't stop. And that's where the people like Andy Frisella, who made 75 Hard and the company First Form, it was like a decade before he made like any money. That's insane. And how many people have that in them? Not many. And that's why not many people are worth $100 million like Andy. So that's all I got for you guys today. I appreciate you watching. If you made it this far, just comment if you did. I appreciate seeing you guys who make it this far, and I will see you guys in the next one.